Okay, it's that time of year again where we look at the best stocks and shares ISA providers for 2025. As usual, I've put together a selection of providers who I think are the best in their field, or at least offer something a bit different from the huge number of platforms out there. Obviously, it goes without saying that there are going to be loads that I've missed out, and if you don't see a platform on here that you like and you love using, feel free to let me know in the comments. Now, alongside this video, just like last year, I've made a spreadsheet that goes into a bit more detail on these platforms and a couple more. I've updated all of the information and you can get hold of it by going to a link I'll leave in the description and popping in your email address. Once you do that, the link will get sent straight over to you and you can easily compare platforms and check the features that matter to you. Okay, if you're new to stocks and shares ISAs and still a bit unsure on the rules, I've done a more in-depth video on that on my channel. However, let me just quickly remind you all that you can have as many stocks and shares ISA accounts as you like, so you can freely try out more than one platform with your own money. The only big thing to know is that every UK adult resident can contribute up to £20,000 per tax year into their ISA accounts. And the tax year starts today when I release this video on the 6th of April 2025. This allowance is shared across the different ISA types and it's up to you and you alone to make sure that you don't put more than £20,000 in. As a quick note, all of the providers I speak about here will be regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority and protected by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, which protects your money up to £85,000 per person per provider. Now, for more details, see the FCA website and always verify what is and what isn't protected. Right, just before we jump into the providers, I did want to just briefly say that this is not a sponsored video, and in fact, I have never been paid money to make a video. I put my money where my mouth is, and I'll mention where I invest my own money at the end of the video. However, I do make a small commission if you use some of my links to sign up and get started investing. This is done at no additional cost to you ever. Okay, in no particular order, let's talk about Trading 212. This company's been going for more than 20 years, and as the name suggests, they offer a platform that lets you trade and invest your money all over the world. They offer not only a stocks and shares ISA, but they also have a general investing account, a cash ISA, a debit card, and a way to trade. You can access their platform from both a mobile app or you can do everything on their website, which looks and feels the same. Another thing they offer, which is a feature I use myself, is getting interest on cash which you hold on their platform that's not invested. Trading 212 will pay you monthly interest on all cash that you have in your account, whether that's in a general investing account or a stocks and shares ISA. The rates they pay are some of the highest in the industry, but they are variable, so expect them to track the base rate set by the Bank of England. As of recording this video, the current annual rate is 4.6% for any holdings in UK pounds. Please do note that if you opt into this feature, your money is technically invested in money market funds or held with different banks. These do not carry the same protections as a cash ISA, and you're not covered under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. Now, when it comes to investments, Trading 212 offers virtually every stock and ETF on the market from all over the world. On the app here, where you have the magnifying glass, you can search for exactly what you need, or you can browse different categories, whether that's the most popular stocks, the most popular ETFs, and categories like big tech, banks, or even funds that allow you to invest in gold. One of the best features is the ability to be able to buy fractional shares, which means that you can invest all of the money you have without having to save up enough for a full share of something. For example, let's say that you want to invest into an S&P 500 ETF like this one here, Vanguard's S&P 500 fund, which you can search and find using VUAG. The cost of one share of this fund is currently around £80. This means that on some platforms, you'd have to save up at least £80 in order to buy a share. But because Trading 212 allows you to buy fractional shares, you can invest from as little as just £1 and you will get the exact amount that you put in just in a fraction. This feature is a game changer for newer investors, as let's say that you want to invest £100 every month, you can deposit that knowing that you'll get £100 worth of whatever you want, rather than one share and some change left over. Another thing I really like is how Trading 212 uses a feature called pies. This is a good way to create and set up a regular investment into a selection of stocks or investments that you like. There are also shared pies, which you can copy, and I've even made a couple myself to help you get started and give you a bit of inspiration. To get the details on how to do this, I've just released a complete beginner's guide to get started investing with Trading 212, and you should be able to find that on my channel and linked at the end of this video. Now, let's talk about fees and charges. Trading 212 is the king of zero or low-cost investing, and they charge no fees to buy or sell, no account fees, and no platform fees. The only costs on the platform are from currency exchange, where they charge you 0.15% when you buy something that's not in UK pounds. This is still very low when you compare it to elsewhere, but do just be aware of this if you're buying something like a US share. As many of you will know, keeping your fees and costs low is one of the most important things that we can do as investors, as it's one of the only things in our control. Okay, quick summary to wrap up. I love this platform. It's super easy to use, low or almost zero fees across the platform. There's a huge choice of investments and accounts. You can also get started with very small amounts of money. And I think this is so important to help people on their way, as we all know that most of the UK is still not investing anything at all. For things I'd love to see in the future or improve, I'd love to see an easier way to invest regularly. At the moment, you need to set up a standing order or manually deposit every time into the account, and I'd prefer something like a direct debit. I'd also love to see them come out with a pension account or maybe even some junior accounts, as well as maybe even a lifetime ISA. There's lots of love and huge potential. I also invest a big chunk of my own money here. If you want to get started investing with Trading 212 and open a stocks and shares ISA, you can receive a free fractional share worth up to £100 by signing up through my link and depositing just £1. You can also get a free fractional share if you just download the app and use my code Toby in the promo code section. You can get this anytime up to 10 days after you've registered. Good luck, I hope you get a good one, and thank you for the continued support. Okay, next up is InvestEngine, a great UK success story that was established in 2019. It's one of the fastest growing platforms for investors in the UK and recently crossed an impressive milestone, having over £1 billion invested for their customers. They offer a wide selection of accounts which include a general investing account, a stocks and shares ISA, a self-invested personal pension, and even a business investing account. I've actually done a separate video on this on my channel, so feel free to check that one out afterwards. You can access InvestEngine through their website and also through their mobile app, which both are really nice and simple to use, and I'd argue that this is probably one of the cleanest looking interfaces you'll find in the investing space. On the investing side, InvestEngine keeps things simple as they focus all of their energy on the ETF market. ETFs are collections of investments that basically allow you to invest in all kinds of different things, from funds that track the S&P 500 to ones following the FTSE 100, and even ones that let you invest in gold and other different commodities. At the moment, there are almost 1,000 different types of investments on the platform, and this number keeps going up. There's no individual stocks here or way to trade back and forth all day long, and I actually do think that's a good thing on this platform. There are a few platforms out there not on this list that, in my view, do encourage people to take on a lot more risk than they should and don't make it 100% clear exactly what people are actually investing in. Now, when it comes to getting yourself set up and invested, basically everything's done inside one single overall account, and then you have your different types of account inside this. For example, you can see here, I've got an ISA, a general investing account, as well as a self-invested personal pension. Diving one level deeper, you then get different portfolios inside of each of these accounts, which you can make as complicated or as simple as you like. Now, I've also just released a complete beginner's guide to using InvestEngine, which I'll leave at the end of this video. So I won't go into too many details here exactly how you do different things. But very briefly, let me show you how easy it is if you want to invest in an S&P 500 index fund. I'd set up a portfolio, I'd choose my fund, I then choose the percentage of my money that I want to go into it. Obviously, when you've only got one fund, it's going to be 100% or nothing. And then from here, you can invest exactly how you like. You can either invest manually by adding in money from your bank account, or you can do something called a savings plan, which is a way to regularly invest every week, every 2 weeks, or even every month. You can have it so every time you get paid, you also invest into your account, and this is all done automatically for you once you set it up. You can choose the amount you want, the day it gets deposited, and how often, as I just mentioned. I personally have things set up this way, and you can actually follow my investing journey with InvestEngine over on my channel. I do regular updates every month, and I've shared lots of different portfolios to help give you a bit of inspiration. Okay, let's talk about fees and charges. InvestEngine charges 0 fees for their accounts, no trading fees, and certainly nothing to get yourself started. You can find all the details here on their website, just in case there are new products they bring out. One thing worth mentioning is that they even removed their SIP fees completely, making this account a great option for UK investors looking to set up a pension. In summary then, this is another platform I really like because of its simplicity, it's free or low cost, it's got a great choice of accounts including the SIP and the business one, regular investing is a breeze, and the choice of investments is enormous. Things I'd love to see added for the future or change would be maybe something like a cash ISA account, maybe a way to get interest on cash, possibly some junior accounts too would also be good. And then finally, it would be great to have more transfer options on their SIP. At the moment, only transfers from Vanguard are being accepted, and I know a lot of people would love to transfer here as well. I know the team are well aware of this, and I'll update you on any changes in the background. If you want to get yourself started with InvestEngine, new customers can get. Next up, let's talk Freetrade. This company's been around since 2015 and was a firm favourite amongst UK investors when they first hit the scene. They've gone through quite a few changes since and were recently acquired by the IG Group, which you may have seen in the news. In terms of investing accounts, they offer a general investing account, a stocks and shares ISA, as well as a self-invested personal pension. You can access the platform through their app and their website, so you're free to choose whatever suits you best at the time. In terms of investment choices, you can find UK stocks, US stocks, investments from across the world, including many popular ETFs. Now, it's important to say that there are a few quirks here with the platform, and they only allow you to invest fractionally in US shares. For UK stocks and ETFs, you will not be able to invest in fractions, so you will need to save up for the full amount in order to make a trade. So on that note, well, why bother to include them at all? Well, I did just want to show you a platform that would allow me to demonstrate what fixed fees look like compared to variable ones. Freetrade offer 3 types of account with them, either free, just to use a general account, around £5 a month to use what they call a standard account, which gets you access to their ISA, and then a plus account for around £10 a month that gets you access to everything, plus a self-invested personal pension, as well as an offer on getting a bit more interest on your uninvested cash. Now, other accounts from legacy providers that have been around for a while often charge you fees as a percentage on the value of your account. So for example, platforms like Hargreaves Lansdown charge you up to 0.45% on all of the money that you have invested. As Freetrade is a fixed fee platform, if you did have a slightly larger account and were to move it here from a variable cost platform, you could be better off. For a quick summary, I do like the simplicity of the app and the website. It's a big reason they were so successful when they launched. The choice of investments is very wide, and there's really something for everyone here. I did actually use them a little bit for a little play test portfolio a couple of years ago, but I don't use them at the moment. However, for smaller accounts and beginners, if you need an ISA, you do have to pay for it, and this is where they fall down a bit. It only works for those with slightly bigger investing accounts, which is the opposite of the ideal customer, I think, they were trying to attract. No fractional shares for the UK shares and ETFs is also a bit of a pain, but anyway, it's still good to have another option on the list. Right, time to talk about Vanguard, who are one of the biggest names in the industry when it comes to investing and managing your money. This global giant manages trillions of dollars of investors' money and has been in the UK for a number of years now. Vanguard, and more specifically John Bogle, the founder, were the leaders in starting the passive index fund business that we all enjoy today. Now, from a UK standpoint, their platform is available on their website and available now on your phone as an app. People were crying out for years for this, and it's now finally happened where you look at your investments on your little phone screen. They offer a wide range of accounts, from a general investment account, stocks and shares ISA, a self-invested personal pension, and even a junior ISA. In terms of investment choices, Vanguard only allow you to invest in their own brand of funds, but there is a wide choice, and this ranges from mutual funds, ETFs, and even managed funds, which Vanguard have put together themselves, including the popular Life Strategy range. So pretty much you've got access to investments from all over the world, but you certainly can't be buying any individual stocks here or doing much trading. This is all geared to long-term investing into funds. Managing the account and placing orders is really simple. You can set up regular investments into whatever you like. There are minimum order sizes, and each fund will tell you how much you need to buy in order to get invested first off, or on a regular basis. It's worth making sure that you understand the difference between an ETF and a mutual fund on this platform, as they don't offer the ability to buy fractional shares on the Vanguard platform, and ETFs count as shares. Buying mutual funds is okay, as these are sold in whatever amount that you place an order, so no change gets given. But ETFs may leave you with change if you don't invest enough to get full shares. Just be aware of this. Now, fees-wise, it's very low cost. There's no account fee or trading fees to worry about. However, they did change their fee structure recently, which has annoyed a lot of people, and I think it's a poor decision which will affect them in the long term. Basically, there's now a minimum charge on your account rather than a variable 0.15%, which just means that smaller accounts will feel a bigger burden on their investments. The minimum charge is now £4 a month, and this means that pretty much anyone with an account with a value under £32,000 is now paying more than they did before. Fine if this doesn't affect you like it does for me, but if you want to start out with a couple of £100s, it's not really a nice feeling to know that a couple of percent has just disappeared before you've even got going. Saying this, it's still a well-trusted name, and many people might be happy to pay for that Vanguard name. On that point, Vanguard can't be ignored as a place to keep your money and invest it. They were the leaders in this space. Their funds are great value, and they offer a really good peace of mind. It's nice having an app on the phone now, and they do offer the ability to invest into your SIP from a limited company, something not everyone else offers. On the downsides and things I'd like to improve, clearly the fees for smaller accounts are a pain. There's no fractional share dealing on ETFs, and the choice of investments, although broad, is available elsewhere at a lower overall cost. The fact that you can buy Vanguard funds cheaper on other platforms kind of makes no sense to me. Next up is one of the oldest and most established investing platforms in the UK, which is still the largest by assets under management. Hargreaves Lansdown offers a wide range of products and account types from their web platform and mobile app, and it's been in business since 1981. You've got everything from a general investing account, the stocks and shares ISA, a cash ISA, a self-invested personal pension, a lifetime ISA, and even junior versions of both the ISA and the SIP. You name it, they have it here, and it's probably one of the most comprehensive places available if you want to have everything under one roof. Most recently, you may have seen the news that Hargreaves Lansdown, which used to be a public company, has been acquired by a consortium of private investors, which I believe is set to complete any day now. The price paid was £5.4 billion, which should show you the scale of the operation. In terms of investments, it's a similar story like their account options. You have every kind of UK, US and international share, ETFs and every kind of mutual fund you could imagine. There are thousands of investments to choose from, which can be both a blessing and a confusing mess depending on how far along your investing journey you are. One of the biggest things missing though is the lack of fractional share dealing, something which I think should be an essential for any platform in the UK now. There's no legal questions anymore around whether they can be held inside your ISA accounts, and there should be no technical reasons the big players are holding back on offering these. When it comes to making your investments and getting your orders in, the fee structure is complicated at first, and for many people, it's quite confusing. There are different fees depending on whether you're buying a share, an ETF, a mutual fund, or even reinvesting dividends that have been paid into your account. There are also limits on fees, trading fees, FX fees, and percentage-based fees on your account. With all of these variables, I can easily see how a lot of people just ignore them and presume they're getting a good deal, when in reality, they're not being very efficient. So here's what I would do. For a couple of useful tips on how to save money with HL, here's what I would suggest. Firstly, if you are a regular investor and set up a direct debit, you can buy into certain ETFs and shares and avoid the £11.95 dealing fee, which would have otherwise applied. The minimum is currently £25 per month in order to get this set up. Next, consider your account fees that are capped with shares and ETFs, but not limited when investing into mutual funds. So if possible, you could buy ETFs and shares on a regular basis and have a capped account fee. However, you still do have the issue that there's no way to buy fractional shares, so that's always a downside. And finally, let me shout this out as it's one of the biggest reasons I've included Hargreaves Lansdown on this list. Their junior ISA remains a completely free account with no fees at all. If you want to set one of those up, I'll leave the link in the description below alongside all the other links in this video. So as a quick summary, it's a very well trusted platform with every option under the sun. It's a business that's been going for a very long time, has great customer service and a strong brand. However, on the flip side, things I'd like to see improved are a much better and competitive fee structure, fractional share offerings, and generally a cleaner and simpler user interface on both the website and their app. If they bring this into the 21st century, they'll be around for a lot more years to come as they can finally attract younger people, whereas at the moment, I feel like they're relying on milking wealthy older clients. Right then, last but not least, I want to bring in Lightyear to this list as this is the first tax year that this newer company has finally got access to stocks and shares ISAs as well as the cash ISA. The company was founded by two early employees of the TransferWise business, now rebranded to Wise, and they've made a fresh-looking investment app that gives you access to thousands of UK, European and US stocks, including popular ETFs. You've also got a general investment account here as well as the business investment account, something you don't see too often. In terms of the app itself, it's probably one of the coolest looking apps with a very slick user interface and lots of good information without overloading you with too many buttons. It's very easy to search for investments, find key details, and get your orders placed. Now, in terms of fees, this isn't a completely free platform, but they've instead gone for a very low cost one on certain things and free on other parts. If you check their page here, you can see what's free and what actually costs you money to do. You'll notice that US stocks come with a 0.1% fee, and UK stocks have a £1 order fee, regardless of how much you want to spend. However, ETFs carry no charges to invest in, and there's no fees to manage and keep an account on their platform. They also have the ability to buy shares in fractions so that no matter how much money you have, you can get it invested into the market. Now, last year, they didn't have their ISA accounts up and running, and now that they do, I think they could start to become a bit more of a challenger in the UK market. There's a good selection of investments, and if you just wanted a place to buy and sell some US and UK stocks, then this could be a really good contender. The only thing which lets it down at the moment, in my opinion, is the choice of UK-listed ETFs, which are a bit limited. For example, I can find a really popular S&P 500 index fund from Vanguard, the one that goes under VUSA and one that goes under VUAG, the other version. However, if I look for a popular Invesco All-World fund that I know a lot of you like, that is nowhere to be found, which would have been FWRG. Also, others that come to the top of my head, S&P 500 funds like GSPX and SPXL. Sorry for the jargon, but those are also not available. Now, I'm sure the team's hard at work to get more choices of UK-listed ETFs, and I'm sure they're fully aware of the demands, but at the moment, they aren't there and the choice is a bit limited. I will say that there's a good selection of EU-listed ones, so if you aren't from the UK and for some reason you're watching this video, you might have a lot more choice on this platform than we do. There's nothing to say I can't buy a Euro-listed stock for my investments, but anytime I do, I'd be paying a currency exchange fee, which I just don't see a reason to do when other platforms exist that I've spoken about earlier. Anyway, watch this space, definitely one that's up and coming. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one develops, and I always welcome new competition in the market to keep everything healthy. The more choice we have as investors, the better, and we all might like different platforms to mix up our investments for some added diversification as well. Right, after that list, I think it can only be right to say where I have my own money. I do find it a bit odd that not all creators will tell you what they do with their own cash, yet they'll tell you what the best platform is. I've got investing accounts with Trading 212, InvestEngine and Vanguard. I have ISAs with Trading 212 and InvestEngine, and my SIP I hold over on Vanguard as it's one of the only places that lets me contribute money from my limited company into it. I also have a business investing account with InvestEngine as well, and if you're ever interested in that side of things, you can check a video I did which goes into more detail. This tax year, I'll probably be keeping things very similar. So I contribute monthly into my InvestEngine ISA, and I use my Trading 212 ISA for more tactical orders and picking some fun stocks, whilst also giving me interest on cash, which I do use as an emergency fund. I do have some very small investments on other platforms just to try them out, but those are my main ones. Now, if you've decided to go with either Trading 212 or InvestEngine, I've made a brand new beginner's guide to these as I think they're going to be very popular with a lot of you. You can find those videos here on screen now and take a look when you get a chance. Whatever you choose, good luck this year. Let me know in the comments below what you're doing, and as always, happy investing.